sixth grade, tonight our mini lesson is going to be about conjunctions. We've learned about 3 different types of conjunctions in this chapter of our parts of speech unit. And tonight we're going to talk about the 3 different kinds of conjunctions that you're going to need to know for your test. The first type is called coordinating. And coordinating conjunctions we also call FANBOYS. FANBOY is a term that we use to help us remember the different coordinating conjunctions. So it's a mnemonic device. And each one of these letters stands for one of the coordinating conjunctions that you need to know for your quiz. The F stands for for. A stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Coordinating conjunctions join equals. So for example, if you have an independent clause, meaning that it is a group of words that can stand alone as a sentence, such as the cat walks. That is a sentence. Boring sentence, but it is a sentence. It has a subject and it has a verb. And if I had another sentence, such as it, make it a sentence. It plays outside. Okay, there is another complete sentence. It is an independent clause. Subject, it, verb, plays. In this one, the subject is cat and the verb is walks. We can use a coordinating conjunction to join these 2 equal independent clauses together. All we have to do is add a comma instead of a period after the first independent clause, and then choose one of these FANBOYS to connect them. I think and makes the most sense. So the cat walks and it plays outside. Now we have one complete sentence and the coordinating conjunction joins them together. Each side of the conjunction is an independent clause. So Mrs. McNulty likes to say, coordinating conjunctions join equals. Any of these FANBOYS or coordinating conjunctions can join 2 independent clauses. So those are your coordinating conjunctions. Those are kind of the ones that I think tend to be the easier conjunctions to remember. The other kind of conjunction that we will need to know for our test is called a subordinating conjunction. Let's see, I'll put it over here. Subordinating. Now, subordinating conjunctions join a subordinate clause to an independent clause. Now, these are fancy words, but all you really need to know is that a subordinate clause is not a sentence on its own. It does have a subject, it does have a verb, but it is not a complete thought, so it is not an independent clause. It's called a subordinate clause. That's a fancy word for dependent clause, meaning it depends on another independent clause to be a complete sentence. Let me give you an example of that. So if I had the independent clause, while she slept. Is that a complete sentence? Well, let's think about what a complete sentence needs to have. It needs to have a subject. It does have a subject. It needs to have a verb. It does have a verb, but it also needs to be a complete thought. If I say, while she slept, is that a complete thought? Or are you waiting to hear more from me? While she slept, something else. What did she do while she slept? This is not a complete thought. However, it does have a subject and a verb, but it starts with this word while. That word is a subordinating conjunction. If we attach an independent clause to this subordinate clause, we can make a complete sentence. So what could we add to while she slept? Maybe we could say, Dad did the dishes while she slept. Dad did the dishes is an independent clause. It is a complete sentence. It has a subject, Dad. It has a verb, did, and it's a complete thought. Dad did the dishes. When you hook the independent clause to the subordinate clause, you have a complete sentence. So we say that subordinating conjunctions like while join unequals. That's what Mrs. McNulty likes to say. A subordinate clause is not equal to an independent clause. So subordinate conjunctions join unequals. Coordinating conjunctions join equals because each side of the conjunction is an independent clause. They are equal. But each side of the subordinating conjunction is not equal. This is independent, this is dependent or subordinate. So let's think of a way that we can remember some of the subordinating conjunctions. One of the tricks that Mrs. McNulty said was a white bus. That's a little mnemonic device that helps us remember some of the subordinating conjunctions. For example, I have a little sheet over here that helps me remember, but although is a subordinating conjunction. Let's see, because is a subordinating conjunction, such as, and let's see, whenever. You might not be able to read this very well from the camera, but however, let's see, it's another one. Unless is one. There's actually a huge number of subordinate conjunctions. And if you look at the notes that I sent you, I have listed a lot of them. On your test, you're going to have to list at least 4, probably no more than 4, but you'll have to remember at least 4 of them. And if you use a white bus, or another one of the tricks that Mrs. McNulty talked about, a woobus. I think we had that funny song that was a woobus. That helped us remember several of them. So these will help you remember some of the subordinate conjunctions, but if you look at the notes I sent you, you'll have a larger list. You'll need to know all of the FANBOYS, the coordinating conjunctions, and about 4 subordinating conjunctions. We also talked about, I'll erase maybe this since we talked about that first. We also learned about something called correlative conjunctions. I think that's how you spell it. Correlative conjunctions are made of 2 words. So, but, let's see, either or. Either or. Neither nor. Not only, but also. They're made up of several words. For example, I will either go to the store or play outside. That is a sentence using the correlative conjunctions. Mom will neither help me with my homework nor do it for me. That is another sentence using correlative conjunctions. Good news is you are not going to have to know those for this test, but it's good to be familiar with them. But you're not going to have to list them on this test. So that is our mini lesson tonight on conjunctions. Remember, know the FANBOYS and at least 4 or 5 subordinating conjunctions. And if you do that, you'll do fine on your test on next Tuesday. Tomorrow, we will be talking about prepositions in our mini lesson, and I will also post a practice test for you on Jupyter that you can practice at home, and then I'll post an answer key on Friday. So we'll see you tomorrow.